Hi, friend. Today we're talking about choosing the right marketing channel for you and your dream student. And I'm talking about this because not only did I feel the pressure to be everywhere when I first started my business, but I also know because of the conversations I have with my students. All the yoga teachers I work with say, Amanda, where should I be? Or I feel like I should be on all of the social media platforms. And I want to talk to you today about shaking that feeling so we don't feel like we need to be everywhere. Because a better option for you is choosing a few or even just one and just rocking that channel. And how, more importantly, we need to know who our dream student is and where they are. But before I dive into the information, I want to welcome you to the Marketing Yoga with Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Amanda McKinney, and my passion is to boil down marketing tips and make it less overwhelming. And I want to do this so that you can make more money and have less stress with the marketing stuff, because I hear that is a stressor every single day. And each week I share practical tips on this podcast. So if that sounds good to you and you haven't hit the subscribe button, I want to make sure that you do that today. And I also want to give a quick listener shout out to my girl, Kelsey. Kelsey left me a review on iTunes and she said this: Amanda shares her marketing expertise to help yoga teachers build a business that they love. Each episode is filled with practical tips, encouragement, and lots of grace. Amanda has a huge heart for yoga teachers, and her positive advice will leave you feeling ready to confidently market your yoga business. Thank you so much, Kelsey. These words mean so much to me, and that's exactly what my goal is. I want to leave yoga teachers and anyone else who's listening feeling confident and ready to market yourself and your business. And I love so much that it's coming across that way. Thank you so much for taking time to leave that review. It means the world to me. And if you would like to be the next name that I shout out on the podcast, make sure to leave me a review. You can leave it in your favorite podcast platform, and bonus points if you screenshot it and tag me in an Instagram story. Because here's a hint there, it'll grab my attention and you'll probably get the next shout out. So make sure to tag me on an Instagram story when you leave that review. But for today's topic, let's dive in and talk about choosing marketing channels that will help you make more progress in your business. First up, I want to share my go-to method, and it all comes down to knowing your dream student. So if you know your dream student, we're going to dive right in. But if you're not sure who your dream student is, I don't want you to stop listening now. I have some information at the very end that's going to help you, because I have an idea that you can use and not have to really know your dream student for your entire business. But once you know who that dream student is, all I want you to do is pick one, yes, just one, place online that your dream student hangs out, and then one place offline that your dream student hangs out. And that's it. It's really about keeping it simple, and focusing on just two main ways of communicating with your dream student is going to make everything so much easier. We're going to dive into both the on and offline channels, but we're going to start online because I know that's where our brains are trained to go anyway. So you're probably already thinking and listing those social media platforms in your head and thinking, Amanda, my dream student is everywhere. How do I pick just one? So let's talk about that online channel. And I want you to start with thinking about that list. Like, where is your dream student hanging out? And then if you have a list that is longer than one, then I'm going to need you to narrow it down to one. And here's how you can do that. You can think about where you are already comfortable. What's easy for you? What is a social media or online platform that you use on a regular basis already? What do you know the most about? This is where I want you to focus, because I want to keep it simple for you. We're trying to lower that stress and your time commitments too. And so if something is easier for you, it's going to take less time. So I want you to make sure to remember that and keep that at the forefront of your mind as well. Because yes, it is absolutely the most important to know where your dream student is. But if you don't like that platform, or if you aren't comfortable with a platform yet, I want you to know that you don't have to be there. Because look at how many online platforms you use. It's more than one. So you are someone's dream student, and therefore they could reach you in all of those places, right? But you probably find that there are certain people you interact with on certain platforms. Maybe you follow certain brands on Instagram, but you're not really following them on Facebook. Or maybe there's Facebook groups that you're in, but you don't really interact with those same people on Instagram. And that's okay. And it's the same thing for your dream student. So think about where they hang out online. And then of that list of places, because I know that there's probably more than one, I want you to think about the one you're most comfortable. And then I want you to start there. And I want you to decide how often you want to interact on that particular platform and then make that a habit. Make it that it's part of your week. It's part of your routine. It's really, really simple. And I think it'll help if I give an example. So let's say your dream student is hairstylist. And you know that hairstylists are both on Instagram and Facebook. But let's say you're more comfortable on Instagram. What I want you to do is start there. Start by posting consistently 4 times a week until it feels just super easy for you. I want you to say with confidence that you post consistently 4 times a week and that it's really easy. And during that time, you're going to learn so much about your audience. By focusing on just one platform, you are going to learn so much because your attention isn't going to be split between platforms. What it's going to do is you're going to be looking at Instagram and you're going to have a post for 4 times a week and you're going to pay attention. You'll pay attention to what those hairstylists are engaging with. Did they like that question? Did they not like that question? Or what are they engaging with? What are they liking and commenting on? And what are they not? This is all important things that you probably don't know because your attention is spread over too many platforms right now. What you can do is get really clear on what your dream student is actually engaging with, and that's going to help you in the long run. So you're going to learn a ton during this time where you're making this a habit. And then once you figure out like, okay, that feels really easy, then you're going to shake it up and start using Instagram stories. So then you're going to think, okay, I'm going to post 3 times a week on Instagram stories in addition to my 4 times a week in the grid. And you're going to have fun and learn a lot too. So now you've got 7 things a week only on Instagram, and your attention is on one singular platform online. And so your attention is right there. It's less time consuming because it's one platform and your attention is really focused in. So you're just going to learn a lot more because it's concentrated on one specific audience and one specific channel. And then once you start with those stories and those become easier and take less time, and there's the kicker, Instagram stories can take a lot of time. I hear that a lot from my students and I feel it too. Those Instagram stories can really take up a lot of time when we want to make them really pretty and all of the things, and we worry about them typically more than a post. So getting that process down of using Instagram stories is going to be a process as well, but you're going to learn so much about the platform and you're also going to learn about your audience. Again, you're going to learn what they engage with and what they don't. Maybe you don't get a lot of comments back if you ask a question, but you get a lot if you do a poll. These are the things that you can learn about your audience just by testing it out. So during this time, yes, you're starting to create a habit and you're starting to utilize a platform and just one platform, but you're also learning so much about your audience. And if you're sitting there saying, oh yeah, Amanda, but my audience is so small, I want you to know that there is such a special time when you have a small audience. And it's so special because you can do things that aren't scalable. So maybe you can post an Instagram story when you have 100 people following you, where you say, put your email in this comment and I'll send you a $5 gift card to Starbucks. See, these are things you can't do when you have hundreds or thousands of followers, but you likely could do something fun. It doesn't have to be money related, but it could be your time. You can do something really creative with a small audience. So I don't want that to stop you from trying this. I want you to know that your audience is going to grow. But right now, if it's small, I want you to have fun with it. I want you to learn as much as you can. Encourage people having DM conversations with you because you have the time in which to do it. So I really want you to focus in on how much you can learn while using this one particular platform. So back to that example. So you've started using Instagram, you're posting 4 times a week, and then you decided, okay, 3 times a week on Instagram stories. So once that feels easy to you, maybe you think about taking on IGTV. Or maybe you think about moving over and tackling Facebook. These are the things that you can do. You can either stay in the one current platform that you're using and use a different feature, or you can then add another platform. This allows it to be really doable for you. And again, our brains have more space to learn something new if the other thing is really easy. But above all else, I just want you to remember that you don't have to be everywhere. You really don't. I know it feels like you need to be everywhere online, but I would rather you saturate one marketing channel and rock it. Like, I want people to be saying, "Oh my gosh, you are so fun on Instagram." Or, "How do you post so often on Facebook? You're really giving away so much content. You go live, you post really cool polls," all of these things. When you start hearing those comments, that's when you know it's going well. I'm saturating this one marketing channel, and it's really important to focus on that because it's better to saturate one than it is to be mediocre on several channels. So now we've talked about online channels. Now it's time to talk about those offline channels. And a special note on this is that this section is really for yoga teachers who are looking to grow an in-person business in a local area and not strictly online. Obviously, if you are creating an online business and you're only offering virtual offers, then you can do some things in your local area. I'm not saying you can't, but your primary audience is going to be online. So not all of these ideas will really benefit you, but you can take these ideas and see how you could tweak them and make them work for online, or simply use your local audience, your local students, if you have any, to grow your online business as well. Because remember, I have a completely online business and I work with everyone virtually. If someone reached out to me and wanted to be coached in some way as a yoga teacher, I would be working with you online. And so I do have yoga teachers that live in my local area who are in my membership and have been coached by me, but we still work online. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but these are primarily driven for those yoga teachers looking to grow an in-person local audience. So thinking about those offline channels, this is where most people really stop thinking about it because our brains, again, are really trained to think about online marketing. We often forget about the things that can be done in person. But I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what is your number one source of students that come to your class, that sign up for your workshop, that sign up for your class series, or are a private client of yours? And the answer is most likely word of mouth. There are not many yoga teachers that I've worked with that haven't said word of mouth is the number one source. This even happens online. Most of the yoga teachers who are in my membership are actually brought in through someone else. They do see my marketing eventually, but it's really someone referring someone else. It's this ripple effect that's really cool. So word of mouth works both online and offline, but we really need to think about it a lot when it comes to our local area and our local business. So I want you to think about that dream student again and think about, where do they hang out in your local area? Does she visit a local store or a coffee shop every single week? Because if that's the case, that's a great place for a collaboration. Stores are loving the idea of having in-store yoga. I've seen it several times in my local area, and you should totally jump on that idea right now. And coffee shops are almost always on board to have some yoga collaborations. And this is a really cool way to market to a different audience who is your dream student. You might not be connected with them, but most likely that coffee shop or that local boutique has an email list and they have a social media following as well. So they're getting the foot traffic in the door, but they also have an online presence. And they will be marketing your collaborative event, which will put you in front of a new audience. So this is a great way to grow your yoga business. And let's say your dream student is a guy. Maybe he's in a local group for golf, or breweries or computer coding. Who cares what the group is? Whoever your dream student is, that's what you need to figure out. And then you can contact the group and see if you can have some sort of yoga involved with one of their meetings, or maybe offer a special workshop just tailored to their needs. What I want you to do is think, yes, about local businesses, but also think outside of businesses to those local groups. Wherever groups gather, you have a wonderful opportunity. So you could offer a workshop for a special group to 20 or 30 people and actually walk away not only with a paid workshop for 20 or 30 people, but also walk away with private clients as well. I have seen this happen. It happens all the time. Because what these people will do is see that, hey, this person can specialize their yoga to fit me, the computer coder who is hunched over my computer way too many hours a day. I definitely need that. Or someone who's a golfer and wants to improve their game, and maybe yoga can do that. Once they recognize that, they may become a private client of yours if that's what you're looking for. But again, the key is that you know who your dream student is, and that's when you can start to figure out where they hang out in your local area. And a special note on this is that this might take a little bit of time. There's a little trial and error that happens here. You're going to find some businesses, some groups, some collaborations that work and others that don't work as well. So I want you to take it one at a time. I do not want you to give up on this if you have one not so great experience. Just know that it might not have been the right group for you, or maybe there's something that you could learn and do differently with the same group or even a different but similar group. The thing is to learn along the way. Just like with those online platforms, you're going to learn about your audience. You can do the exact same thing with these in-person collaborations as well. So when it comes to those in-person, those offline channels, what I want you to do is think about, just brainstorm a few ideas of who you could collaborate with that already work with your dream student. From there, just start the connections. And remember that sometimes these connections take a long time. So maybe you reach out to someone and you don't hear back. What I want you to do is to keep following up. If it is a collaboration that's going to work well, I want you to put in the work to actually follow up with that person. Maybe you go by the local business or contact someone you know in the group. These are the things you can do to continue to build those relationships. And as you do that, word of mouth is really going to start picking up as well. You're going to be known as the person who follows through with things that you're trying to work towards. You'll be the person that they think about when they're thinking about next quarter's meeting and they want to do something fun. So I don't want you to give up, but just know that this takes time, but it's totally worth it. I pinky promise it is totally worth the time and effort that you put into collaborations that feel right to you and your business. So I promised you that if you don't know who your dream student is, that I still have ideas for you. And so now it's time that I want to talk to you who, if you're not sure who your dream student is, maybe you're just starting out as a yoga teacher and you're just trying to figure that out, because it does take time. Or maybe you're terrified of declaring a dream student. And let me tell you, you are not alone. There is not many yoga teachers that I work with that aren't nervous about making that declaration, and that they aren't terrified of limiting their options of working with students and not wanting to share yoga with everyone. Because again, yoga is for everyone, and that is the case. Absolutely 100%. But once we get clear on a dream student, everything gets easier from the marketing perspective, and you most likely will start to earn more money. But until you get there, I don't want to make you think that you can't market yourself as a yoga teacher. So here's an idea for you. I want you to just pick a person for a specific offering. So let's say that a while back, you had someone reach out to you and you hosted a workshop for moms. Maybe it was at a birthday party or some type of gathering. So you already have all the work done, right? You've already ran it once and you learned along the way. So I want you to use that again. I want you to reach out to a few moms that you know in the area and ask, hey, do you want to put something together for some friends, maybe over the holiday season or summer, or right as everything's getting back to school so the moms have a little extra time? I want you to just reach out and ask. I want you to start there and see how it goes. So think about how you can utilize your local community and start to grow and experiment with a specific dream student. Because maybe you want to take your business online one day, and you will have to know who your dream student is at that point. Because if you can imagine, there's probably hundreds of yoga teachers in your local area. Maybe there's less, but there's still competition. And it's hard to stand out when you don't have a specific niche, right? Well, double, triple, quadruple, all of the numbers, right? You're going to be competing with so many more yoga teachers online. So start locally if you're not sure who your dream student is, and experiment with one dream student. So let's say you already have that workshop. I want you to offer it again. Reach out to some moms and say, hey, let's get something on the calendar. I would love to offer this again. It doesn't have to be with the same person. It totally could be, but you can also reach out to other people and see if they want to book something for a special occasion. Or maybe you have a private client that gave you an idea. They just talk to you after those private sessions and they say, I really wish that some of my friends would hire you too because I've seen so much benefit in working with you. So maybe you thought that was a really cool idea, but you haven't thought about it until I just said it on this podcast episode. So for you, I want you to circle back with that person and revisit the idea. Think about, okay, how can I take them up on this idea? And it's their idea. They're going to be so pumped that you want to look at it again. So think about that and think about, how can I use their idea? Because again, that's listening to your dream student, and think about, how can I offer this? What makes sense for me and my business today? Circle back to that person and see if you can get something on the books. And just experiment with that particular type of private client and how you can offer something maybe to their friends. Or maybe, let's think about this. Maybe you have the idea and the dream of working with corporations. Because one, you know that there is more money to be made when you work with corporations. And more importantly, you can help people. You can help a lot of people in an office setting. So let's chase that dream. I want you to put together an outline of a corporate class or a workshop or whatever you have this dream about creating. And I want you to make a list of 5 corporate offices in your area. And then I want you to figure out who the HR person is in those 5 companies and start to make that contact. And remember, follow up. These HR representatives are so busy, but they have money in their budget to work with wellness. So make it happen. I want you to keep following up at least once a week. Give it a try and really connect with these corporate offices and see if you can make your dream a reality. But the biggest thing is that I don't want you to let the fear of niching down, or the simple fact that you haven't even figured out what you want to niche down to stop you. You can still use this method of picking one place online and one place offline to help you market your business. Or maybe you just pick one of those for now. If picking 2 things is like feeling overwhelming, I want you to just pick one. So speaking of that, your next best step is to decide on just one offering that you want to grow or create, and then picking one marketing channel online and one marketing channel offline, and make a plan for how you're going to utilize those channels. I want you to decide exactly how you're going to use one or both of those channels and make it happen. I want you to make the goals really clear. You will be posting 4 times a week, or you will reach out to 5 companies. Whatever it is, I want you to start today. I don't want you to put this off until tomorrow, because the best time to start growing your business is today. I promise you will wish you had if you don't. So get after it. You got this, and I've got you. And until next time, give yourself permission to limit your marketing efforts and grace along the way. Talk to you soon.